to take you in our discussion space, but we also make sure that Christ is in the center. I remember when I was in England some time ago, I went from Jamaica to England to find a man. My friend and I, we went full head on trying to find this guy. And I left England and went back to Jamaica and I did not find that guy. I found two, but I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But pals, how should someone, male or female, choose a life partner? What do we look for? How do we look for it? And when do we know it's the right time that this is the guy or this is the girl for that matter? Take it home, pals.
And you want to start off with someone who you can be comfortable with, you can be real with, the person who you marry would be that person who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And I do mean literally, when everybody else is gone, that is the person who you have to live with. And so it's very important that the person understands you and you also understand that person. Because all the private things, that you would do with people who you're comfortable with, you don't want to fluctuate, for example, and feel a way around your husband. And there are some people who don't do that around their husbands. They're too proper to do it before their husbands. Or, you feel sick and you want to belch. Those basic things. And because he's so, you have to be careful what you do around him and what you say around him and how you act. So that would require you pretending for the rest of your life. And a lot of relationships start off by pretense. It has to be first and foremost somebody who you are absolutely comfortable with, and that would be a friend.
Just piggybacking on what George had said, the reality of how unnatural most really are some relationships start off. And we see that especially now with all the fakeness, the faces being, we go persons right now, after putting on makeup, they're totally different from how they actually look. And we have false hair now that looks real and everything. And we hear this story about this man where he married this woman. And when he brought her home and she washed off all the makeup, he was totally upset. He said, "You're not the one I married." And we have so much now to add to beauty, but it takes away from, it is deceptive to some degree. And so persons, it kind of forces persons to become attracted to the physical before they can even know you as the person. So where do you strike the balance? Nobody is saying do not fix up your exterior or invest in an exterior, but it can't be that you're gonna wake up and put on the eyelash and fix the face and then lie and smile to say this is how you look in the morning. The person should see you in your relaxed state and your normal state. If they can't accept you in that normal state, then kudos. But if you have to keep pretending to be something, you can only do the pretense for a time. If you can't sustain it. So we have to be mindful, try to be, and that is why, you spoke about friendship, how important friendship is, because when you're friends, you don't have any ulterior motive about being in a relationship, so you're your total self. You belch, you want belch, you'll do you laugh, you want to laugh, you do whatever. And most of the times when friendships move to relationship or intimacy, it is those are the things that the person liked about them. Or you twirl your hair when you think, or you're smiling, the things that your laughter, and so it is just a better scenario because you can be yourself. And as Georgia said, it's a lifelong partner. When the wheels meet the road or so forth, whatever the statement is, so that it is the two of you, unless you're not looking for a long-term relationship.
Yes, Trish.
All right, so I agree with both. In looking for a partner, they said that you have to see before you can like. So you have to see the person before you can say something to the person, get the person's name and get their number. Then you start to try to get to know the person. So from exterior is important to me, but at the end of the day, personality is also one of the key. So getting to know the person, first of all, you see the person and you're attracted to what you see. You get to know the person by listening, because one of the things I do know, and it's from personal experience, people show you who they are from the get-go. Yeah, they show you who they are from day one. Yes, but we sometimes, because we really want one man and we really want it to work out, we ignore those signs. We ignore them. And we say, oh, maybe he was just going through a bad day today. That's why this happened. But no, that wasn't just a bad day. That's the person. So, I mean, you look for, sometimes people pretend and you can't see the true person until when the true personality start coming out. And as I said, I know of situations like that, especially in my career. I know that persons really do pretend first, but then when they find out who they're really with, it's like a two enemy. Because as Kadian said, but this is not the person I'm married to. This is not the person I fell in love with. Because you fell in love with the pretense. It's the pretense you fell in love with.
A serious time bomb that sister.
Yes. And that's a serious thing. And I can tell you, when you find out that you're in love with the wrong person, it can cause serious depression, because you're going to wonder now, how I'm going to come out of this.
Yes.
How do I get out? Right. How do I get out of this? So even though you try to get to know the person and you like some qualities you see the person with, sometimes it's the real person and sometimes it's really pretend to get to the person want you to get involved with them, so they put on a show. So we have to look out for that, and it is not easy. And one thing Georgette always said to me, time. Just give it time, because that whatever you're looking for will come out in the person in time, eventually.
And that is why, giving that time in our culture, once you say, yes, we're in a, first of all, I like you, we automatically become into a relationship, and then next step, bed. You're sleeping together. So there is no opportunity for you to get to know the person. So it means that, because there are persons out there who get because there's so much information online, how to get a girl, how to get a guy, and all these different things. You can actually get training. And so to know what to say, I listened to someone and he said, if you ask if the lady has a child, you can ask about the child. Does he care about the child? What's it?
No, really.
If you show interest in the child,
you're going to come and ground.
Right, yeah. So there is that they know what are the right things to say, and you not knowing that this person getting training, would be fall for it and say, oh, he's so considerate.
Yes,
about the child, right? Yes, but it has an ambition. No, that is why if you wait, if their motive is just to get with you, and you decide, what, not until marriage, right? They will, if that is their intention, then they'll go. Something will come up, or they'll stop communicating and so forth. And in that case, you may have liked the person, but you wouldn't have lost anything. They can go. You're being saved, from something. So sometimes you have to, not sometimes, the best way is to allow for that time, so that that person, that true self, their true motives will come to light. And before, if not, you're setting up yourself.
Amen. As I mentioned earlier in my introduction, I did went to England to hope to find a nice guy, but I found one at the bus stop. I found two, one at the bus stop, and I found another one who was about 6 times my size. So it just never worked out, because from the initial, as you mentioned, it just no work out. You know what they want, you know what they're coming after, and you can just see the picture being painted on the wall, right? And so, is there any safe way? Is there any safe way to secure that man or that woman for your life partner? You make sure that this man is yours or this woman is yours, or you're going to make sure that the person see you, or you're going, those little things that you do. Is there a safe passage you can take to get to make that person like you? Yes, G.
There is, like anything else in this world, nothing is 100%. You can't be totally sure of anything, like I keep telling persons that even after being married for over 22 years, I'm still learning about my husband. I'm still learning about myself. And as you grow older, you get new ambitions, you change and your ideas change. And if the other person is not changing along with you, you could drift apart. So I just want to start off by saying that we're all human beings and there's nothing that's 100%. But there are some signs that you can look for. They're there from the beginning. And as Trisha says, time. It's very difficult for somebody to pretend over a year. It is very difficult. They have to be an actor. And mind you, they are actors.
They are paid actors too, yeah.
Yes. But what I find is if you push hard enough, the old time people say if you step on cockroach, you'll see them belly. Yes.
If you know mash cockroach, you see them gut.
You'll see them gut. There are some people who you'd have to be going out long enough with them and cross them. You're probably on a date and upset them to see how they react, to see how they treat you. Did they drive off and say, you're your home, if you find your way to your yard, and God, bust by yourself, or when it was time to pay the bills, them get silent and gone to the bathroom and leave you alone to pay the bill.
I leave the wallet.
Exactly. Or them never carry them wallet, and you and them driving in your car, and when you're passing through the toll, did they offer to pay the toll? Those are the little things that might seem like very simple things, but they're important. How do they treat their own family members? How do they treat their own mothers, their own sisters? Do they speak about them? Do they speak badly about their mother? Are they disrespectful to other family members? Because more than likely, if they are, they're going to be disrespectful to you too. Do they love the Lord? Do they love the Lord? And that is just so important. Because, you see, if they don't love the Lord, they can't love you. That's the truth. Do they love them? And I'm not talking about, because there's a difference between somebody who is haughty and think a lot about themselves. Because they think a lot about themselves doesn't mean that they love themselves. So how do they speak about themselves? How do they treat what is supposed to be important? How do they treat the people who you love? Do they like your friends? Are they upset every time your friend come around? Because the friend that love you, who take care of you,
I learned a big lesson with that one. That don't forgive me for interjecting, but it's true. That is an important point. That one is very important, because if that man cares about you, he's going to care about the friends who really cares about you. And I've had an experience where the man hate everybody will love me. So right there and then I knew that he never cared about me any at all. Because the persons who were there for me 100%, he couldn't stand them. He hate them to the point where he delete my friend number all times one.
Red light.
And we see it. We see the red lights and we ignore them because we tell ourselves that it's not.
It will change.
Or that he won't do it to you. Because what he and I have is special So we see, for example, that him used to beat the wife that he had before, his ex-wife. But he says, I would never beat you because she was giving me trouble. So what's going to happen when you start giving him trouble?
Yes.
You understand? So the signs are always there, and we must never ignore them. And as I said, the most important thing, the Bible says that a man must treat his wife as how God treats the church. And so for a man to love you, he has to understand God's love first. He has to understand what God expects of him. He has to understand how God wishes for him to treat his wife. If he doesn't understand that fundamental principle, he cannot treat you right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about people who go to church. Because there are a lot of men who go to church and claim to be Christian, but they don't know the Lord.
Yes, Katie, and I know you were. Yeah, you were.
You want Katie and go before me? Okay, because Georgia touched some crucial point, and all the points that Georgia touched, I've had those experiences, all of them. Even the church one. You get married to somebody because he's going to church. But at the end of the day, he going to church, it doesn't mean that he loves the Lord. You know, so you have to give it time. I have to know what you want. I'm going to give a prime example too. It's something that is happening. This guy says that he has some interest in me. I have no interest, but him saying have interest. And I'm saying that you have interest in me, and you have never said to me, Trisha, you have lunch today? Let me stop by and drop off a lunch for you. Let me stop by and, get an orange, because you know I love fruits or whatever. You know that my hours are long at work. And you have never done that. No. What the purpose? The other day the rain was falling and I saw a text coming in my phone. And you know what the text said? The rain is falling. Now is the time. This is the best time to, make love. I'm like, I just block him.
What do you say?
No, but you like me 100%. And you're dead over me too, And the important questions you need to ask me. You're not asking me the questions. I live with a son. I live with an 8-year-old child. And you know the child. What are the questions towards me and my child? You're not even asking me how am I coping. You alone with him. Who keep him in the days for you? Those are the important things I need. I blocked him. So you have to know what you want. I know the questions that I need my partner to ask me. And as Georgette says, when the person really loves himself, he's going to know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And I'm going to give you another example. This other person like me too, but there's no interest because the person is just too young. But the person asks me the right questions. The person does the right things. The person, if him did just 10 years older, trust me, it would be spot on. Kind of like him too, but he's a child. I could be his mother. But he does the right things every day. Every single day. He asks me the right questions and he just does the right thing. So you just know, you just have to know exactly what you want, and you have to be strong. Because sometimes out of desperation, we will do the wrong things.
Maybe that last guy wants Stella to get back her groove.
That is the movie I remembered, but
yes. This topic, right? So Trisha and Georgette has touched on some very key points with regards to relationships, especially the red light or the danger signs that we tend to ignore when we do see them, and or deception in thinking that we can change a person. And We can't. The reality is we can't. It is like the saying that this says a leopard can't change his spot. And any changing that will take place is only God can change that person. So my thing is just, if you see those red signs, it means it is not the time. The person is not ready for you. But the thing is too, I want to encourage a single person who has not yet found that person to enjoy your singlehood. There's so much you can do and so much you can learn, and so much growth. You know, my perception of life and relationship is totally different from what it was so many years ago. I remember it graduated, right? Because I remember during high school, I was like, you must be tall, dark, and handsome with dimples, right? When I got to university, I was like, I added pretty ear to it and muscular. I went on. And, you know, being married for so long, I realized how important the inner person is. It supersedes the physical. And some persons, there are different persons. There are some women who is okay. The guy look good and everything, doesn't matter, because they can live two separate lives. But if you are a person that wants to be in a committed long-term or lifelong relationship, the core of the person matters even more than the external. And the Bible tells us explicitly what the relationship between the man and the woman should be like. Yeah. It tells us that we must be submissive to our husband. And submissive to, when you think of submissive, some women are like, oh no, be submissive to. But you realize that if you have the right partner, there is no problem in being submissive. And being submissive is not being like you're going to be a doormat. It just means that you leave the authority and the decisions per se to your spouse, the final word. And it's like in a business where you have the CEO and whoever, the assistant, I don't know the titles, but even or the vice president, the president and the vice president. The vice president doesn't make his decisions by himself. You know, he has board meetings and they discuss. So you are the board, right? That the husband will come to and say, hey, this is our issue, and talk about it. And then he, you know, based on what you put forward and what is put forward, he says, okay, this is what we're going to do. So you're submissive to say, allow your husband to make the choices for the home. But not every man has that capacity to do it. And that is why it is important that we make the right choice from the onset. The Bible also tells us that we are to be respectful to our husband. So even at times when we want to knock him out, we have to maintain that respect, because God tells us we must be respectful to our husband. And it also goes to even the point where sometimes you know, you have to be careful of who you're married to because really and truly, the Bible says he's the head of the home. And so if your husband is of different thoughts from yours, the Bible says we must respect. This is my personal opinion, just from what the Bible tells us. So if he says, okay, so for example, he doesn't worship on the Sabbath, and he wants to go out on the Sabbath, is conflict going to relate in having your marriage, right? So it's like you have to put aside yourself, and if you're going to hold for it, there's just conflict. And that is why the Bible says, let it be equal. And so we have to be careful of who is it that we're going to place over us for us to be submissive and be respectful too. The other thing is that the man, the Bible tells, God just says submit and respect for us as women. You know what he said to men? Love your wife as how Christ loved the church, how he gave his life for her. It means that nothing should be ever too good for your wife.
That's the point I was going to make, Kadian.
So good.
I was going
Right?
to speak on the man's behalf because I was going to say, yes, the woman must be submissive, but the man still has a responsibility to his wife as well. That's the point I was going to drive, but continue.
Yes. Nothing can be too good for your wife. There's a saying which says a happy wife is a happy life, and that is the truth. They did a marriage series at church, and they were talking about this woman who is mouthy. She was very miserable, essentially. But you see, when a man learns how to respect his wife, when he learns to love her and cater to her emotional needs, her needs to connect, to know that she's special and all of that, there is no, her mountainous, she has no problems submitting, because God not going to tell us to do something that it is out of us to do. If we are given the right situation, we will be submissive.
Yes.
We will.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know what being submissive means? It means giving your all into the relationship.
Yes.
And when somebody treats you good, when somebody take care of you, how could you not want to give them your all? No, anything with them ask. So
I think we had that discussion. I think Georgette and I had that discussion it's last week we had that discussion, Georgette, or this week. That same topic. You said, Trisha, oh, if somebody love you, oh, you cannot love that person.
No, you can't give.
Yeah, Georgette, we had that. Oh, last week.
We're looking at the love.
Bible study.
Yes, we're looking at how God justifies us even though we don't deserve it. And as a result of us feeling grateful for his love to us, help but do what is good. We can't help but do what is right because of what he has done for us, not because of our goodness towards him. So yes, if you have a man who is wicked, it's hard for you submissive to him. You know, you just want rebel. Yes,
true.
But if he's a good husband, if he takes care of you, if he's always looking for you, you can't help but want to also be good to him too and to give back to him. And submissiveness is not allowing someone to step on your head. Submissiveness is giving your all. It's making love with your entire being. It's responding to the needs of the other person. We talk about equally yoked. Sometimes we tend to think about being equally yoked as just both of you going to having the same religion. It's far more than that.
Beyond that.
Yes, it means that you have similar goals. It's very important. That's why getting to know people before you marry them is important. What is it you want to achieve? So, Trisha wants to grow her business and she wants to do well. How does your spouse feel about that? Is he happy that you want to do well? Does he want you to do well? And is he prepared to assist you in moving forward? Do you want children? There are some men who don't want children. There are some women who don't want children. So if I say I don't want any children and then he starts pressuring me for children, we could have problems. You know what I mean? There are some people who, so it's like the illustration I give is you're driving a car and we have one car and him say him want to go to Kingston and you say you want to go to Mapen. No movement. No movement for anybody.
Who will get the car? Who will get the car?
After a while, it's going to be the bad man, I'm going to kick you out
of the
truth.
No, but the real man is going to say, babes, you take the car, go to Mapen, I'll find my way to Kingston.
Right.
That's what the real man is going to do.
Say both of us go to Kingston today and then another day
we go to town.
Right. Or that, it's two solutions.
Right.
But some man is going to take the car.
And
take taxi. Well, I know, your child take taxi.
All right. Tell me about it.
You want his child. You want his child.
I tell you.
You want
talking from experience.
Take taxi.
Yeah, it all boils down to the friendship that you have with the person when you're getting to know the person. And sometimes those relationships that you guys are painting has to be with someone who you've been friends with, not in a personal, emotional way, but just general friendship that blossom into that. So you would have known the person already.
Hello. You ever meet somebody yet, you see? somebody, that's a girlfriend, for example, when you meet her, you're in her clique.
Yes.
You just know that
Yes.
we're gonna be friends
Yes.
forever.
Yes.
Forever. Yes.
Forever. You just connect.
Yeah. Yes.
When you find yourself connecting with a male like that, it is more than likely that he's going to be a good husband for you too. The connection is important.
Our wife. Our wife.
Our wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it may be that you're drawn to the person because of how they look physically.
Mm-hmm.
But then it may be that if you were to allow the person who you're not drawn to physically to sit down and talk with them, and you were to have a relationship with them, you'd find that you love them. I mean, and I'm talking about a platonic kind of love. That you like being with them. This person makes you happy. This person makes you laugh. This person is concerned about the things that affect you. You can have a conversation with this person. You're comfortable with this person. And if that is established as in any relationship where you do your part and that other person does his or her part, you may very well find that person becomes a lifelong partner.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
But I just adding to Georgette, you don't have to be friends all the time, Mark. That's probably the best one. But there can be from the first our initial meeting, there is just a connection, right? So when I say we have to wait and look among your friends to see who is a possible partner, because it can happen like that. But the most important thing I think is that we should learn about ourselves. You see, if we know ourselves, what it is that we want, what will make our relationship, the things that we will not tolerate. We know ourselves. If we sit down long enough, we know what it is that we really can't manage. Some of us like the doors open for us, the man being the gentleman, seeing us with the weight, and they say, you know, I want me to take that for you, and all that. Some of us want those things. And nothing is wrong to want those things. Those are basic things, not anybody to the moon to go get back a meteor or whatever, right? It's basic things. And if you like to be treated like that and the person isn't treating like that in the dating part, then it's a no-no.
Yeah.
Don't settle. And they're talking in the Bible, they talk about Boaz and Ruth. And the relationship, they're deemed a romance relationship because of how they met, the submission, and how he looked out for her, and he went and he was tactful in his things so that he would make her his own. And the man must be like that. He should pursue you and not pursue you for sex or for anything, but pursue you with a genuineness to want to be with you. And sometimes you probably have to start asking those really tough questions to find out what is his take up on certain things.
Right.
And again, when you see the red signs, just definitely take them seriously. They won't change. Only God can change them.
Amen.
And Katie, I was in a similar situation, and let me tell you what happened to me though. I just thought that he would have changed, honestly to God, I just thought that he would have changed because I saw the red flags, I saw the signs that this wasn't going to work out. Even the night before, I saw it and knew that it wasn't gonna work out. But the example I drew was, when you rent a house, you're not gonna spend on the house, not true. But when you own the house, you start you paint, you go buy paint, you go buy block and remodel the house because of your house, you own the house now.
So I just take care of the rent house, you're not gonna take care of your house. Take care of the rent house, you're not gonna take care of your house.
And that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking, because I was saying, okay, maybe because he's not sure about me and he's not married to me, that's why he's not give me this and he not do this to me and he not do that for me. But then he own the house and it worse. So you're right, Georgette, if you can't take care of rent house. And one thing I learned too, and I'm going to tell the listeners, If a man is earning $1 and him can't share that $1 with you, when him earn 100,000, him not gonna share it. None at all. Just like tithing. If you can tithe, if you can pay your tithe out of $1, how are you going to pay it out of 100,000 or $1 million? So sometimes as women or as men, because we're talking on both ends, as women and as men, we tend to look and say, boy, she can this and she can that. But if you can't do it when it's small, you never can do it when it's big. Because it's out of the little comes forth big.
Amen.
Yeah. And you know, for the men, I want to encourage them too. You know, sometimes you see a girl, she looks nice, she's well dressed, she's hot, but she treats her mom, her parents badly, treats her father badly. You look out, she's gonna treat you badly. Anytime you are on your face and you can't move, look out for your bad treatment, right? Because what goes around comes around. So don't close your eyes to those little things. You know, if she's disrespectful to her parents, she will be disrespectful to you. She can't show kindness and love and loyalty to those who grew up with her for 20 odd years. Don't think that you can come in and change her and make her into a good, wonderful, loving woman.
Okay.
Wow.
It's not a rehab center. Marriage is not a rehab center. And then what we also need to recognize is the eternity of marriage based on biblical terms. It is not something we can up in, up out to when we feel like, you know, based on what the scripture tells us. So, you know, that is why it is so important that it has, well, first of all, for us to basically walk from it, have to reach a stage where it really not working, right? As I said, irreconcilable, right? But and then when you look at it, it would have been so many years that you would have lost that you can't get back. So it is so important that for those who are single, dating, that they really take a second look and ask themselves,
Not an overnight thing.
Take time to know him.
Take time to know him.
You know, the Bible talks about, the Bible talks about out of the hardness of your heart. You know what that means? The hardness of your heart. When you see, say you reach the end of that thing and you tried all you can, you go through all the ropes you can go through, and it's not working out of the hardness of your heart, you're going to say you can't take it no more. And some of us, men and women, we're willing to want it to work, but it just can't work because of the hardness of the other person's heart. But
that is true.
But also too, you know, for the marriages that are there, and it is not like the honeymoon stage, it doesn't have to end, but both partners have to be at a place where they want it to work and are willing to do the work to make it work. So if it means that the relationship requires counseling, it means that you need to go counseling. If it means that, and it means that you're gonna have to start, you know, praying together and asking God to intervene into the relationship and be intentional and deliberate in every act that you do. So it means that you have to now step back and say, okay, what is it that my partner likes? And start doing that which your partner likes, right? Because you want it to work. But you can't neglect it. You can't neglect your relationship. It is eternal work. It is work if you to make.
Amen. There you have it, listeners. We leave everything bare in front of your eyes. We did not cheat you in this one. We gave you as we see it and from Bible background. We do not pretend when we come into this discussion space. If you look at Trisha's face, you know she's not joking when she talks. And if you listen to Georgia, you know she's giving you sober thoughts. And if you also tune into Katie and you know that what she says, she means it because she came from the Bible. And as for me, I just want you to understand that we don't come here to just show and flip any pages. We came here to take you through the leaves as we see it. So until we meet again, right in this discussion space, we're going to ask you, if you like the content of this video, to share this video. Share it with your friends. You must know someone who wants to get a little push over the edge of learning how to choose that partner. And who knows, maybe we'll come back with part 2 in a more intentional way. So until we meet again, this is your Powerpuff Girl saying goodbye.
Bye.